In Pennsylvania, victims of childhood abuse and advocates are still fighting for a retroactive 2-year window to file civil lawsuits against their abusers. This Monday, families, survivors, lawmakers, and advocates demanded action from Senate leadership. Erie News Now State Capitol correspondent Brendan Scanlon is joining us live from Harrisburg. Brendan, you've been following this legislation and the advocacy efforts for several months now. What was different about today's call for action?
Yeah, well, good evening, Eva. You know, you're exactly right. Advocates for victims of child sex abuse have really been fighting for these efforts for years now. And today, you know, the emotions were real. They were raw. You know, you've heard from these folks who are just sort of upset. They're, you know, irritated with the lack of what they call the lack of movement in the Senate and the inability for the Senate to move forward. And this morning, you know, their demands just echoed throughout the halls of the Capitol.
Senator Corman, Majority Leader Ward, we will never go away.
This morning, State Representative Mark Rozzi pointed the finger at Senate leadership for their inability to pass his legislation that would suspend the civil statute of limitations in cases of child sex abuse, or House Bill 951.
Create a 2-year window for child sex abuse victims who could not file lawsuits before.
In April of 2021, the House passed the bill with a final vote of 149 to 52. The bill was then sent to the Senate Judiciary Committee, where it was approved in an 11-3 bipartisan vote.
And since then, it has been stalled.
Last year, a proposed constitutional amendment would have retroactively let victims file civil actions against their abusers. However, in February 2021, the Department of State made a critical error by failing to advertise the amendment, and it was never placed on the ballot.
That error caused a heartbreaking delay for thousands of survivors, and I am personally sorry for the pain it caused for so many.
Yes, the Department of State failed, but that shouldn't be an excuse to not act.
Attorney General Josh Shapiro says there's been a global reckoning, and legislation needs to be passed now.
Even the Pope himself acknowledged the truth of what was contained in that grand jury report.
Advocates say the bill would also expose hidden predators.
No other state has more information about the workings of child sex abuse cover-ups than the state of Pennsylvania.
And victim advocates like Sean Dougherty are growing tired.
Survivors should not have to go through the psychological torture of these political battles. We are all tired.
And Eva, it really just boils down to whether this window is going to be provided through legislation or through a constitutional amendment. Senator Ward's office has told us in the past that the best way forward is with a constitutional amendment because she believes that the legislation, House Bill 951, is not constitutional. So with last year's error from the Department of State and the already lengthy constitutional amendment process, it might not be until next year, 2023, when voters can expect this issue on the ballot. But for now, live inside the state capitol for Erie News Now, I'm Brendan Scanlon. Eva, back to you.
All right, Brendan, the emotions and, of course, the process continues. Thanks.